Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Good morning, everybody. We have a video here today that's covering one topic and one topic only. And we're going to be talking how Harry the hypocrite claims he's an eco-warrior when he's not. And the reason behind this video is because for some ungodly reason, Google decided to join up with Travelist. FYI, I have fixed the phone that I usually do videos on, so my voice should not be going up and down on this particular video. So let's get right in, okay? Let's go! Also, FYI, if I'm not mistaken, this is on record the longest video I've ever done. I do not usually do super long videos because I feel like people tune out after a few minutes, but you guys are really going to want to listen to this one. All right, now let's go. First private jet was taken by Meghan alone when she was supposedly pregnant with Archie. The jet was provided by Amal Clooney, who flew over with Meghan for Meghan's baby shower. Next up, we have the jet that Meghan took to fly over after Archie's birth to watch Serena Williams play tennis. That was when she was caught flirting with Serena's husband. We don't know if somebody provided that jet or they actually paid for that one. Keep in mind, for those two trips, there was no Harry, there was no baby. It was simply Meghan by herself. Next up, we have London to Ibiza for Meghan's 38th birthday. That flight was also provided by the Clooneys. The next flight was from Ibiza back to London on the Clooneys plane. The next flight was London to Nice, and that flight was provided by Elton John. They went on Elton's jet. Here are some photos of them getting off the plane, and I might add, getting into a huge gas-guzzling SUV. Flight 4 was Nice back to London, again on Elton John's private jet. Once again, here's pictures of them. They arrive at the airport to fly home in a huge gas-guzzling SUV before getting on the private plane. And all of this took place in only 11 days. I should add that there was such an outcry over the two of them flying around that Elton John came out and made a statement how Diana had been his friend and he wanted to provide the two of them a safe haven vacation, and he had paid money to offset the CO2 from the jet. I don't know how that works, but I don't see how paying money undoes the damage to the ozone layer. I guess that's just a super rich thing. Okay? Now, let us not forget that before those 4 flights took place, Harry flew to Sicily to attend a Google summit that was also taking place about the environment. And he flew there on a private plane and used a private helicopter. Google spared no expense for this. They rented out the Acropolis, I believe it's called. They did all kinds of light shows and entertainment for everybody. Now, it should be noted, for the number of people who went there, it was reported that 114 private jets were used. That's saying something. Now, while all of this is going on, the two of them decide to put out a tweet which was completely tone deaf and created all kinds of controversy. People were up in arms over this. People were pointing out, rightly so, that they're not living what they're preaching. And of course, Piers Morgan had something to say about that. Oh my God, I love this man. Go Piers! So let's move forward. The two of them decide they're going to quit their royal duties and walk away from the royal family and move to Canada. Here we go. On November 25th of 2019, the family flew to Vancouver Island, Canada for Christmas and New Year's, and they flew on a private jet. On January 4th, a week later, Harry and Meghan flew back to London, leaving Archie behind with the nanny and a friend, and they flew in on a private jet. Now, on January 8th, they made their huge announcement, and Meghan ran from the UK as quick as she could, leaving Harry behind to clean up the mess. Typical. And it was reported that she flew back on British Airlines. Here's what I find suspicious about all that. Their spokesperson was asked, did she fly private or did she fly British Airways? I mean, she was already gone out of the country. There was no reason not to answer. And their spokesman said no comment. That tells me that she flew private again. On January 16th, he went to see his family, if this date is correct, at Buckingham Palace. So the point is the two of them are flying back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, which is not good for the environment. Now, let's be fair. The last time Harry flew home, he took a commercial flight. But I'm wondering if that's because he had received so much flack at that point. All right, what you're looking at now is a picture of Tyler Perry's plane, or, the exact plane that he has. And this was another private jet that Harry and Meghan took from Canada to California. They flew straight to paparazzi and COVID land. It's pretty obvious at this point that while Harry is yakking on about the environment, he really doesn't care about the environment. Meghan is the one who has expensive taste. Anytime she flies, except for one, anytime she flies, it's by private jet. Meghan has very expensive taste, but let's be honest, after seeing the Me You Can't See, we also know now that she has convinced Harry that people want to kill her, that she's in serious danger, and therefore a private jet is the only way to make sure that she'll be safe. Let's go backwards just a little bit. In 2019, Harry flew, finally, commercial to Amsterdam to do the opening of Travelist. There was absolutely no way he was going to go there and not get out of the private jet usage question. So when he was asked, here's what he had to say.
I spend 99% of my life traveling the world by commercial. Occasionally there needs to be an opportunity based on a unique circumstance to ensure that my family are safe.
Of course, we all know now that that's absolutely untrue and just a bunch of word salad. Meghan has flown alone. Harry has flown alone. You say what you have to say to get out of whatever it is you're in the middle of, but it doesn't change the facts. Besides the private flights, since Harry and Meghan are such eco-warriors, they moved to California and they bought the house that you see above. The house is almost 19,000 square feet with 9 bedrooms and 16 bathrooms. All of that for a family of 4, or 5 if you count Doria. Now keep in mind, the entire house has to be heated and cooled. Air conditioning emits harmful gases into the atmosphere. This impacts the environment just like any machine that burns fossil fuel does. Some studies claim that by the year 2050, 25% of global warming will be caused by air conditioning. Somehow I don't think Harry cares, or Meghan for that matter. The water usage alone for 16 bathrooms, because they all have to be flushed once a month, is staggering. The water usage for that huge pool, the water usage for the hot tub, the water usage for the property to keep everything you see on your screen lush and green and blooming is astronomical. Now, we've seen on camera twice where Harry flew to the UK, flew back, and was picked up by a car service that's using a gas-guzzling SUV. Now, these car services have other vehicles. They do have Priuses. They have other vehicles, but apparently Harry wants the biggest and the best because he hasn't requested them. It's the same car service that they use to go around town, to go to the doctor's office, and to go to events. These cars, by the way, get 14 miles to the gallon. Now, we're assuming this is Harry's personal vehicle since he's driving. He still could have rented it. But once again, gas-guzzling SUV. And even this car that was obviously rented for that time they showed up and gave out 5 meals and then left, gas-guzzling SUV. And of course, they used gas-guzzling SUVs the entire time they were being chauffeured around New York City like they were something special. So you would begin to think that at some point Harry would start practicing what he's preaching because, Travelist is moving forward and it's getting all this attention now that Google has joined up with it, but no. We all know that Harry flew to Aspen, Colorado for a charity polo match, and he flew in on a private jet. And he flew home on that same private jet from Colorado to California. I honestly believe that Harry thinks that since these jets are owned by friends and he's not paying for them, that somehow this doesn't affect him and it's allowed. We are all aware that these two flew into New York to try to insert themselves into everything that was going on with the UN, as well as taping for this documentary for Netflix, which we heard about 2 years ago. And they flew in on a, guess what, private jet. They flew back to California on yet another private jet, and they were seen hugging the staff that went with them. Wouldn't have surprised me if their Netflix liaison was there making sure that all the footage was good. They were spotted at the airport hugging each other goodbye and congratulating each other on what they think was a successful mission to New York, that they got all the photos they wanted, they got all the footage they wanted, and they're ready for their Netflix documentary. You know, I almost forgot about the baby-to-baby incident. Remember, they went to the charity, they asked the charity to pay for the flight, and the charity said no, and Meghan didn't want to drive in a car. So they flew there, and they stayed for 20 minutes, and they brought their own photographer, and they merged, copyrighted the pictures, and they merged the clothing and the mask. But yeah, there was another flight. So for those of you who have not been keeping count, that makes 17 flights on private jets from 2019 to 2021, and we're only in September. Now, as I'm counting, another newspaper came out and said that they've actually had 21 private jets, so I'm going to go with their count. I believe it. And yet, this guy is constantly yakking at us about how we should travel sustainably. And let's not forget about their house and how they're living with the air conditioning and the heating and the water. Yeah, I just don't feel like listening to them at all about this kind of topic. It's just, no. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I've given him the name Hypocrite Harry, and why I cannot figure out why Google decided to partner with Travelist. I have to assume that since Harry went to that Google summit at the Acropolis, that somebody high up in Google knows Harry, and Sunshine Sachs got involved, and somehow that's how they hooked up. I have yet to understand why anybody would want to join with somebody who lectures everybody on climate control but doesn't do anything that he directs everybody else to do. It just boggles my mind. So I have a few housekeeping items before I finish this video. My husband and I finally went to visit my youngest son at college, and we were in the bookstore, and this is what I saw. I'm like, I don't understand why this is in a college bookstore. But then again, all right, I made a little bit of a correction. I think that is much, much better, don't you? Secondly, you guys know how I love Australian news. Well, they had something to say about Harry and Meghan's trip. Watch this.
They just want to be left alone. We know they want their privacy. So they've been touring New York City with a photographer and a videographer in tow. There's a doco being made on their trip to New York City. What a joke.
It is a joke. And every single time you see them, it's a joke. I mean, they are two of the greatest liars on the planet. They always say, we want our privacy. Where's the camera? It's ridiculous. And I think we've just gone along with them too often. Frankly, I don't care what they think about anything. I don't think the two of them are over bright. I think that they're not going to challenge Einstein anytime soon. Let's leave them alone. I don't want to hear about them. I don't want to watch them. They can just do it in New York, whatever they want to do. I don't care.
And finally, since you guys haven't seen him in a little while, here's a Finn update for you. When we went to college to visit my son, we had to board him. And when we picked him up from the vet's office, he was super excited. Ready? Oh my goodness, we're excited. Go! Whoa! Dun, 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 dun. We're back from the boarding facility. You're going so fast. Slow down. That's why you slid into the fence. You don't like to... Go get him. I'm going to get that. I'm going to get it. Oh. All right. Go get it. Boom, boom. You want to play? Give me that toy. Oh, but if you're in your crate, I can't get it because I can't reach in there. Silly boy. So, what do you guys think that for all this time, Harry and Meghan have been using these huge gas-guzzling SUVs, even though other options are available to them, but they've decided not to avail themselves? What do you guys think about the word salad that Harry spewed at Travelist, saying that they only take private planes for unique circumstances to make sure his family is safe, and then they've taken 17 flights with the family, without the family, alone, she's alone. What do you think of that? What do you guys think about Google joining with Travelist, even though the founder of Travelist is not doing any of the things he's lecturing everybody else to do? Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future uploads. Don't forget to leave your comments below. You know how I love reading them. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter. You can email me. And don't forget about that coffee fund. And as always, you guys, have a great day.